Peace, good evening. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Foul Playland. As always, I'm your Foul Player. Was doing this video regarding the news that just came down this weekend regarding the son of current President Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, being indicted on 3 felony gun charges. This is stemming from the time that he applied for his gun, I'm assuming, because I believe when you do apply for a gun on the application, it asks you if you are a drug user, to which he probably answered no. And if you guys have been living under a rock these past couple years, you guys may have seen clips of the Hunter Biden laptop, many of which include him using drugs like smoking crack, like on camera. This is not being reported widely, but I mean, that's what's out there on video. Now, if you guys don't know, too, Hunter Biden did come to an agreement before in the same court. Let me turn down the lights. A plea agreement which exonerated him from any future judgments or any future criminal charges. And the judge, who I believe her name is Judge Cannon, looked over the plea agreement, which was going to keep Hunter Biden out of jail. I think they were going to give him a short amount of probation and some fines, but it also exonerated him from future charges. The judge saw that agreement and proclaimed that she'd never seen an agreement in which some like a arrangement was made to that fashion, to where you wouldn't be in charge. You wouldn't be able to charge the Hunter Biden in the future, and she I guess kicked it back. Now David Weiss, since then the special prosecutor, the district attorney for the state of Delaware, was given special. Geez, what's it called? Anyway, I forgot what it's called, but it's basically where you could look into any facet of a defendant's life, and special something, and which I think it may be special counsel, or I don't know, whatever it is, but where you could look into any facet of the person who you're trying to charge, like without much obstruction. I don't know why they weren't given that before. I know the name too, like the term that I'm trying to come up with. Now it's eluded me. But they were David Weiss, the district attorney for the state of Delaware, was given that special access, I guess, whatever it's called. And since then, he came up with these charges really quick. Now, off the top, I honestly think that these charges were like sort of a slap on the wrist to make it seem like some justice is being done. That's my first observation. A lot of this didn't have anything to do with the fact that he doesn't register as a foreign agent, which is the bigger crime here. When you are a foreign agent, where you basically sell access internationally, you're supposed to register as a foreign agent, and Hunter Biden clearly isn't one, or clearly didn't register. Although, you'd be a dummy to think that he wasn't selling his access abroad. I'll get to all that in a minute. But I'm not sure if other charges are going to come from this. I don't think so, because they've been investigating him. He's been under investigation for a long time, and these are the charges that were brought up. So that gives me the feeling that these are the only charges that will come of this, and they're probably going to try to do a quick trial, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. What I do like from this, because at the end of the day, I don't care 2 bits whether Hunter Biden is charged. The fact that he does drugs and whatnot. I think that's more like I don't like charges on Hunter Biden isn't the end all be all for me. The end all be all for me is that the truth is going to be found out. Like why Hunter Biden was selling his access abroad. Like what kind of access was he selling? Was he selling the access to the then Vice President Joe Biden? Who else knew about this? Like above Joe Biden? Like did other people within the Democratic Party um, now that were probably in the Democratic Party during the time in which Joe Biden was the vice president? Were they in on all this? Like, or were they aloof to all this? I think they were because if I remember correctly, um, I remember them making an issue of or warning Joe Biden while he was vice president regarding some of his dealings in the Ukraine, like saying like like maybe put a pause to it or who knows. But all this information is out there. I mean, if you did any sort of digging, look on Rumble. Like I mean, you ain't gonna find it on YouTube. YouTube is highly censored. I've said this a ton of times. That might be like why my channel doesn't get a lot of traction, but who cares? I mean, these are the last days. But this information's out there. I mean, Google, like all the internet now is highly manicured and highly in a position where, like, if you look for information that's really obvious that you could have found 3-4 years ago, like you're not gonna really find it now on a Google search, and you're not gonna find it on YouTube most times. Go to Rumble and look for a lot of these things regarding Hunter Biden, regarding the contents of his laptop, and you'll find a lot of what I'm telling you. But if I found it, the media could have found it during the time that Joe Biden was the vice president, during the time that Joe Biden was the president. But they don't want you to know all that, like I mean, like so it, and to me that's the good thing that comes of all this is the fact that more and more people are going to tune out of the major media. That's inevitable. And that's a good thing. Like the major media, the internet, big tech, all these people are working against you, and they're going to give you the inclination that, oh, we're manicuring the internet because we don't want a certain contingent in the country to rise up, or we don't want racism like to get out of hand, or like that's bullshit. Like they make it seem like if you quell things on the internet that they're not gonna blow up and play out in the regular world, and that's a bunch of BS. People don't even go out like that and to that fashion, like to where you're telling me that I can't look up regular information legally without big tech playing defense for one political party. It's not like they're playing. I mean, if we, like, well, I'll get into that another time though. But the good thing that comes of this is that we do start to get the truth of all these things. I mean, like with the Joe Biden impeachment, one good thing that comes of it, or the impeachment inquiry, is that they get the power to subpoena banks, maybe to subpoena other members of Joe Biden's family and his entourage. And that's a good thing too, because I ultimately, like, nothing will come of it criminally. I know this because at the end of the day, Joe Biden could pardon Hunter Biden for this gun charge that just came up. Joe Biden could pardon any member of his family, his brother, who is deeply involved in these same things as Hunter Biden, with the exception of, I don't know, like he don't have drug footage out there or him partaking in drugs. But Joe Biden's sister is part of the same entourage of glad handlers or people that receive money in the same fashion that Hunter Biden received money. There's also rumors of Joe Biden's granddaughter receiving money, like illicitly. And again, like, do I think criminal charges will come of this? No, absolutely not. But what does come of it is that more and more people find out. And the more and more people find out, the better. Like the more like it may not be everybody that's gonna find out because of how censored things are on the regular media, not talking about these issues, big tech quelling your ability to find out about these issues. But screw them. The good thing is that people find out, and if one or two people find out of 1,000, I mean, the word starts going around in a grassroots fashion. Um, then you have more people educated, which is always a good thing. Like I don't like to root for my team and like don't want you to find out information of my candidate. Like I'm for Trump. If you have great information about Trump being a racist or and you could present it to me, like I'm not gonna like close my ears. No, 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 I don't want to talk about it or like make an excuse about it. Like no way. Like you tell me, and if it's BS, then I get the chance to disseminate it. If it's legit, then I'm gonna know. But most people don't have a lot of good information regarding the candidate of my choosing, the one candidate of my choosing, because I don't have many people that I pump up politically besides one. Two, if you count here in Jersey, Billy Prempe, like vote for my man's when he runs again against Basement Bill Patterson. But besides that, I'm only behind one movement. I'm not behind the conservatives in reference to the Republican Party. No, I'm conservative. Yes, I don't think the Republican Party is conservative. Like, so I don't like pump up every Republican. Like in the short term, yeah. Do I want them to win right now because of what the country's going through? Yes, but that doesn't mean that I align with how they move or like what they're aligned with. Like, because they're pretty much the other wing on the same bird. They Republicans are good for just saying pump the brakes to liberals. Like when liberals like screw up everything. I don't want a party that pumps the brakes. I'm more of a MAGA guy which says no, you ain't gonna get it off on me. Period. But we're coming to a point in this country like where a lot of we're coming to an apex, if you will, and that's why I think they're trying to censor this because Hunter Biden, although I mean, and Joe Biden more, although I think he's a extremely corrupt politician, just based on his tenure, all the old politicians within the Senate, Congress, politically in general, are corrupt. 100% corrupt. Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, homeboy from Utah that said he's not going to be running for Senate coming up, Joe Biden. These are all extremely corrupt politicians. These are people that have tons of money beyond what they've made in their congressional or senatorial careers. Like these people have houses. I mean, I think Joe Biden owns a house that was once owned by the DuPont family. He sold that house since then. But the DuPonts, that's like old money, big time old money. And you're going to buy his house with a senator's salary? It's not happening. These people are making money like with shell companies. And that's what Hunter Biden was running, was these shell companies for his dad. He was probably running these shell companies for his dad, for YouTube not to give me the kibosh, but I know what it is, and you know what it is. But, this is happening all over the place. I mean, this is happening with countries like Ukraine, like with Burisma and Metabiota, but it was also happening in countries like Russia, where Hunter Biden was receiving money from the mayor of Moscow, I believe, like the mayor's wife from Moscow, who's one of the richest people of Russia. Yet we're supposed to be giving up the cost of goods to help Ukraine like fight against Russia. Meanwhile, like you got one family like that's receiving money from both sides just a couple of years ago. So like that presents a major problem. And like don't let people like gaslight you into, oh well, all politicians do that. I mean, we're not talking about all politicians in this case. We're talking about one who's at the helm of the greatest country in the world right now in Joe Biden. You know, I'm not like, if you wanna bring up all politicians doing that, then yeah, bring up all individual instances of politicians doing that, and don't try to gaslight people into making it seem like this is common, because it's not. It's not common for a president's son to be making money with the country in Ukraine, and that now we're endorsing that same country or giving money to that country to go fight a war against another nuclear power like in Russia, regardless of whether they invaded or not. Ukraine was one of the most corrupt countries, the most corrupt country in Europe by American standards just a couple years ago. Like, you don't think they're corrupt now? You don't think they were corrupt or corrupting the vice president's son when they were considered the most corrupt country in all of Europe during the time that the vice president's son was at the head of Burisma? Give me a break. Like, let's not play stupid. I mean, like, if you got a legit argument to bring up, then bring it up. But if not, like, let's get to the truth of things. And if you got a truth against any candidate, like, go ahead, throw it up. But I mean, right now I'm covering this one because it's the most salacious one. It's the most important one. And again, the only good thing that'll come of this is that a total takedown of the American media that chose not to cover this for years and years and years. The takedown of big tech. Like, we should muzzle these people. These people should have muzzled you and me. But let me know what you guys think. With that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day tomorrow when you view this, or this evening as you watch the Eagles take on the Vikings. With that, I hope you guys keep your heads about you. We are entering into really troublesome times, dangerous times, but one thing that will come at the end of this, as much as things do suck right now, is that maybe we get into an era of not being able to bullshit people any longer. And that's the good thing. That could only be good. With that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.